Hello, everyone. Welcome to our meeting number 292. It is wonderful to have a meeting with the India team and the US team. And Diwali is coming up. Hopefully, this new year will end the pandemic, what we have been seeing in 2020. With this, I like to call the meeting in order and welcome our President, Charlene. Thank you, Charlene.
It's a joint effort. Next time, I'll let you speak first, Hind, for today. Yes, happy Diwali, guys. And Thanksgiving here is around the corner. I'm thankful that we are healthy. I'm thankful Arista stocks hits 1-year high. Who says Corona is bad? Mostly, I'm thankful that we are together across the ocean to share a laugh, a story, and a tender moment. I'm happy to see the smiley faces from both of the teams, especially the OITC team. So let me hand it over to the president of the OITC team, Hind.
Thank you, Charlene. Good morning, Indian people. Good midnight, Phil. And good evening, people from America. It is so great to see a mix of faces on this panel once again. Before we proceed, I would name out 2 of our members for whom this is the first rendezvous meeting, Phil and Hilol. People, this is a meeting where roles are taken up with across the both the clubs. So HQ Club takes up some roles and OITC takes up some roles. And we do it once a month. We try to do it once a month, and we have been doing it since July. And we find it a great opportunity to get to know each other, at least people. This was not at all possible when we used to meet in person. And the opportunity that has unfortunately been provided to us by Corona, we are trying to make the best use of it. And this is, I must say, the best case use of that. With that, I'm hoping everybody is up. People in India, I hope you have woken up. And people in America, I hope you don't sleep through the meeting. With that, I will hand it over to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Lihua. Please welcome Toastmaster Lihua.
Thank you, Hind. Welcome everyone to our today's Toastmaster meeting. Last time, in our Toastmaster meeting, in one of our Toastmaster meeting that I hosted, I showed them some fun facts about states, and the people love it. So today I prepared more fun facts, not about states, but just about everything. The first thing I would talk about chocolate. Since this is a holiday season, who loves chocolate? And who ate M&M chocolate before? Oh, Max never ate M&M chocolate.
Hind, it is gems in India. You must have eaten it.
Oh, don't know.
Gems I have eaten a lot.
Yeah, gems is M&M. M&M is the US version of gems.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now, yeah, Hind, you also ate it. Now the question is about the M&M. Who knows what M&M stands for? Oh, Max,
Monkey
you never
and monkey?
It, but you know it.
This I recently read.
That's my name.
Oh, what's
M&M.
What's your answer, Neha? What's your guess?
Monkey and monkey?
Monkey and monkey. And Max said it's your name, M. Max, oh, M&M.
Yeah, Max Mehech, M&M.
Oh, you are close. And so M&M actually are 2 persons' name, Forrest Mars and Bruce Marie. Yeah, Bruce Marie. Did you Google it? Oh, yeah. That's the 2 businessmen who created this chocolate brand. but the two actually had a very contentious relationship. Mars leveraged Marie out of his 20% share in the company in 1949, years before M&M would become the best-selling candy in the US, paying him just $1 million for a share of business that would quickly be worth billions. So today we know M&M represent two persons' name, Mars and Marie. Okay, with that, I would like to bring our great general evaluator, Charlene, to the stage to introduce his evaluation team. Welcome, Charlene.
Yes, I have a strong team, and I will introduce the roles and let them speak for themselves. So first is the timer, Rajiv. Can you tell us what you're going to do for us?
Thank you, Charlene. Good morning and good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'll be the timer for today. So I'll be timing the formal speeches, table topic speeches, as well as the evaluation times. And for those who have actually have their speaker view, I would suggest you make it into a gallery view, because I'll be changing my background to alert you guys for the timings. So for the formal speeches, I assume it's from 5 to 7 minutes for both the speeches. So at 5 minutes, I'll be changing my background to green. And at 6 minutes, I'll be changing it to yellow. And at 7 minutes, I'll be changing it to red. Similarly, for the table topics, the breakout will be 1 minute, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, and 2 minutes. And for the evaluations, it will be 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and 3 minutes. At the end of the session, I'll be giving the report. Thank you. Back to you, Charlene.
Thank you, Rajiv. Next is the AhCounter. Who is that? Oh, Sumedh. Would you tell us? You're mute. Thank you.
Charlene, my name is Sumedh and I'll be the AhCounter today. My job is pretty simple. I'll be keeping a tab of all the CRPFs that people use during the meet. CRPF stands for catch words, repetitions, pauses, and fillers. Apart from that, I'll also be counting the bisyllabic tones that we speak, uhs and ums. So I'll be counting that. At the end of the meet, I'll present my report to the United Nations Human Rights Council for violations of free speech. I'm just kidding. I'll just share it with you so that we all can improve and get better at public speaking. Thank you. Back to you, Charlene.
That's funny. Thank you, Sumedh. Next is the Grammarian, Srinivasan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Charlene. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I am Srinivasan and I am the Grammarian of the day. I am very happy to see every one of you as this is my first meeting, that is a rendezvous meeting. My job here as a grammarian is to make notes of any incorrect grammar used by any of the speakers today. At the end of the meeting, I will give a grammarian report denoting any incorrect usage or any unique grammar used which can be followed by in the future meetings. Let me start with the word of the day. So today's word of the day is erudite. I'll repeat it again, erudite, which means having or showing knowledge that is gained by study. Some example usage of erudite in sentences are: the erudite student graduated at the top of her class. Watching the news and reading the newspapers are good ways to stay erudite on the world events. So with this, I would like to congratulate all the speakers on a very good day. Over to you, Toastmaster Charlie.
Thank you. That's an impressive report, or not report, introduction of Grammarian wrote. Would you mind to put the word of the day on the chat, Srinivasan?
Sure, yeah, let me do that.
Thank you. So we're going to have two evaluation for two speakers. So I will introduce them later. So back to you, Madam Toastmaster Lihua.
Thank you, Charlene. Today, I really want to control the time within the 1 hour. So according to the schedule, we are a little behind already. So without any further delay, I would like to invite our first evaluator, Vicky, to give us to talk about the speech of our first speaker, Ram. Welcome, Vicky.
All right, thank you, Lihua. Ram's gonna give speech from Presentation Mastery, Level 1, Project 2B. The objective for his speech is the purpose of the project is for members to present speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to the second speech. So the feedback he got from the previous speech is work on voice modulation and audience engagement. All right, so let's see how he applied to his feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. Now let's welcome our speaker, first speaker, Ram, to give his presentation, give his speech today. Welcome, Ram.
Good morning and good evening. Today I will present my L1P2 speech in the Presentation Mastery pathway. When I last presented this speech, I was asked to work on audience engagement and voice modulation. How many of you have ever thought about your weight unfavorably, as in, I weigh too much, I want to drop a few pounds, or I'm too skinny, I want to add some muscle mass? Wow, that's not a surprise. That's quite a few of us. According to Business Wire, the global weight management market is expected to grow to $270 billion by 2024. Considering the magnitude of the problem and its impact on our daily lives, I researched this topic. My findings are organized across 4 dimensions, and I will start with the most obvious: diet. In 1992, the US Department of Agriculture proposed the familiar food pyramid. It organizes food groups into a visual hierarchy, reminding us to consume a healthy portion and proportion of carbs, proteins, and fats. Its chief criticism is that it doesn't differentiate between simple and complex carbohydrates, good and bad fats, and it does not take into account the constitution of its consumers, thus paving the way for the entry of several other diets: paleo, blood type, raw food, vegan, Atkins, low fat, low sodium, Dukan, GI, detox. There are so many more, each with its own reasoning, dedicated fan following, and criticism. That brings us to the second dimension: exercise. The medical community has never stopped emphasizing that diet control by itself is no silver bullet. Rather, regular exercise needs to go hand in hand with diet for us to stay healthy. As with the diets, there are several exercise techniques: walking, running, cycling, swimming, yoga, Pilates, weight training, each with its own pros and cons. Having said these, there's something more interesting. These have been common sense. A more interesting dimension is genetics. The hypothesis was interesting. If genetics influence a person's height, why don't they influence weight? Studies conducted between 1999 and 2007 on patients with type 2 diabetes led to the discovery of the FTO gene on chromosome 16. The finding was that people with excess body fat were predisposed to developing type 2 diabetes. This conclusion opened up a Pandora's box of claims, counterclaims, proposals, arguments on the role of genetics in weight management. This has been so rampant that there are companies today that are in the business of predicting your chance for losing or gaining weight, among other things, based on genetics. One example of a company that provides this service is DNA Fit. Their modus operandi is simple. You pay several $100s for the type of test that you want, and the company sends you a kit by mail. You send back a sample of your buccal mucosa or some skin cells from the lining of your cheek. The results point out a whole range of parameters, including optimal diet type, carbohydrates and fat response, salt, alcohol, caffeine sensitivity, lactose tolerance or intolerance, aerobic trainability, injury predisposition, and the list goes on. In my opinion, the most interesting dimension to weight management relates to time. Time, you ask? Yes, time. I don't mean you should ignore managing your weight until such time that you become old, mature, nature takes its course, and more things happen, and it doesn't bother you anymore. No. This dimension is so important that I'll tell you a little secret. Work in this area resulted in a Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2016. Can you guess at it? No. Japanese cell biologist Yoshinori Osumi won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2016 for how cells recycle and renew their content, a process called autophagy. Fasting activates autophagy. You may well ask, what does this or whatever have to do with weight management? Many diets focus on what to eat. Fasting, or to sound cool, intermittent fasting is all about when you eat. Johns Hopkins neuroscientist Mark Mattson, an erudite scholar, has this to say about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting contrasts with the normal eating pattern for most of us. We eat all through our waking hours. If someone is eating 3 meals a day plus snacks, and they're not exercising every time they eat, they're running on these calories and not burning their fat stores. With intermittent fasting, you only eat during a specific time. Fasting for a certain number of hours each day or eating just a few meals every few days in a week is how this works. After several hours without food, the body enters a phase called metabolic switching. Intermittent fasting prolongs the period when your body burns fat. This makes sense, doesn't it? In conclusion, I'll leave you with these thoughts. I believe where there's a will, there are several ways. Try one or try them all. As card-carrying members of the Toastmasters Club, we should be able to make this connection. Weight management is very similar to public speaking. If you're tired of starting over and over and over again, don't even stop the first time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ram. This is a very interesting topic. I always care about those weight loss things, but it's hard for me to really find an effective way. Rajiv, can you start the 1 minute timer and let us know? Thank you. Yeah, please spend 1 minute to write the evaluation for Ram.
I've copied the evaluation form on the chat window.
Oh, yes. Yes, please use that link and fill the evaluation. Oh, Akshaya is still not here. Yes, Hind, have you connected with Akshaya? You pinged her?
I messaged him but could not reach her.
Put someone
Somebody
else.
who does not have a role in this meeting, can they take it up?
Max and Abhijit and Hill and Raghava and Phil. Anyone want to be the evaluator for Neha? Max. Great. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Max. Take the role.
Max, I'll send you my speech objectives.
Akshaya
Oh yeah,
is
1 minute is
kind of-
up. Oh, thank you. 1 minute is up.
Hey, Lihua.
Yeah, who is
Audible?
talking? Is that
Sumedh.
Sumedh?
Yeah, Akshay is trying to join the meet. She's facing some difficulty, it seems. I just had a contact with her.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So Max volunteered to be the evaluator, so you can let her know. So no rush, take time. If she can join, that's great.
Sure, okay.
So with that, we will start our second speech. First, I would like to invite Max to talk about the, do you know about the project goals about the Neha speech?
I just sent it, Max. You can just read out the project type.
Where did you send it to? Sorry.
Okay, maybe I can only tell.
No, I can. It's in the. Is the one in the agenda?
It's in the email. I sent you in an email. But
Oh, you just sent me an email. That's what I was asking. Where did you send it? I have so many windows open here. Okay, let me find my email. I don't know where my email went.
Yeah, take your time. I can give you a fact. So maybe just a 1 minute time for Max to find the email. I can give you guys a fact, fun facts I prepared about the mall. So many of us, we feel lost when we are shopping in the mall. It's just so big, so many turns and so many shops, and we often feel lost where to go out and where to go to the place that we entered. And we feel we are so dumb and we don't have the sense of direction, right? But to tell you, researchers found that the malls are actually designed to deliberately disorient visitors, causing them to lose track of time and where exactly they are. This is called, there's a term for this. It's called a groom transfer, because they found the confusing layout could lead to consumers spend more time and more money in shopping venue. So next time, don't blame yourself and maybe turn your shopping experience in the mall to online shopping. But maybe there will be more traps there. You will get lost in buying more things. Okay, now 1 minute is up. I think it's Max's turn. Have you found your email?
Yes.
Okay, let's welcome Max to give the talk about Neha's speech goal today. Welcome, Max.
Thank you, Lihua. Neha is going to present the the project research project. So she has spent time researching a topic. She speaks about a new topic or a known topic on a deeper level. The member will present a well-organized, well-delivered speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech content and style should work well together. The title of Neha's speech is Hope is Infectious. Good luck, Neha.
Okay, thank you. I have Neha prepared some introduction. Where did I wrote it? Here. Here, okay. Neha's speech introduction. Today, Neha gonna take us to the speech 2 of her Corona Life speech series. In her speech 1, she had captured her feelings that she experienced during the first few months of lockdown. Today, she walks us through her feelings just pre-COVID. If movies can have prequels, speeches can too. Let's welcome Neha. The title is Hope. Hope, Neha.
Many of you might remember my mother-in-law from my previous speeches as loving, kind, and affectionate. Almost a year ago, when she was 67 years of age, one day her shoulders suddenly froze. She went to the doctor and doctor gave her a medicine which fixed her frozen shoulders, but it caused her to lose her appetite. She barely ate anything for a week, and her body gave away. After running a few tests, it was diagnosed that her body's sodium had dropped below 120 milliequivalents per liter, for which the normal range is 135 to 145. And below 116, it could be fatal. My husband and I were very concerned, so we immediately booked our tickets to India. After spending 5 days in ICU, my mother-in-law got better, her sodium stabilized, and she came home. She was given medicines to take every day. We were taking good care of her. But instead of getting better, her condition deteriorated. We were giving her salt in everything she was eating and drinking. She started to lose her balance. She had hallucinations. She was seeing images. She was talking nonsense. One day, she tried to sit on a chair, but she fell on the floor, and her body totally gave away. We rushed her to the emergency room. Her blood pressure dropped a lot. She became unconscious. And after running a lot of blood tests, CT scan, brain MRI scan, the doctor diagnosed her to be affected by central pontine myelinolysis, CPM. CPM is a neurological disorder that affects the brain. Pontine refers to the stem of the brain, called pons. Myelin is a sheath which protects the pontine nerve cells. Myelinolysis means that myelin got destroyed. CPM occurs after a rapid correction of sodium deficiency. This rapid rise in sodium concentration pulls the water away from the brain cells and also causes a movement in the brain molecules. This leads to the destruction of myelin. The National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Strokes in US states that this rise in the sodium concentration should not be more than 10 millimoles per liter in a 24-hour period. How could a simple thing as less salt in your body cause such a serious brain issue? It is said that a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. In the 2 days when she was home, we were unaware that one of the medicines that she was given was to retain salt in her body. That, in addition to the salt we fed her, spiked her body sodium. After 4 days, my mother-in-law regained consciousness. She opened her eyes, and her happiness knew no bounds. But it was short-lived. Soon she started to show symptoms of CPM. CPM causes loss in both physical movement and cognitive functions. My mother-in-law had complete paralysis of her arms, her legs, and her face. She could only move her eyes. She could not eat. She could not drink. She could not speak. This comatose state, also referred as logged-in syndrome, is CPM at its worst. My mother-in-law had to be fed via a feeding tube in her nose. She had a catheter attached to her to pass urine. She was passing stool in the bed. These all conditions led her to contract urinary infections, blood infections, and she had painful sores throughout her body. It was the most helpless and most miserable state for a person to be in. And it was the most disheartening state for anyone to see a loved one in. She was given 30 to 35 medicines every day. 35. Can you imagine that? CPM has no cure. Only its symptoms can be treated. The erudite doctors would fix one thing. Another problem arose. And that kept on happening with her. The doctors told us that my mother-in-law could be paralyzed and be in bed forever. They told us that CPM patients do not generally die because of CPM, but they do die because of the conditions that happen to them because of lying in bed. So they told us there was not much hope and that we should manage our expectations accordingly. On December 31st, 2019, the doctors almost gave up. And we thought we lost her. But we were desperate. We consulted more and more neurosurgeons. Finally, one of the doctors told us that she had 20 to 70% chances of recovery. He told me, I cannot control if I can cure your mom. But what I can control is that I can talk to you. I can give you my time. I can answer your questions and give you hope. He showed us the silver lining in the black clouds. We all became very positive and hopeful and focused all our energies in doing whatever we could for our mom. We gave her physical therapy 6 to 7 times a day. We massaged her arms and legs 3 times a day, and we encouraged her to repeat words after us. After 4 weeks, she moved her forearm. After 6 weeks, she uttered her first words, my children. It was like hearing your kid speak for the first time. After 7 weeks in ICU, the doctor discharged her for at-home care. Looking back, my mother-in-law probably saw our pain to see her like that. At the same time, she saw the hope in our eyes. She must have determined then that she would make herself better together with us. On January 1st, 2020, she started showing signs of improvement. Over the later months, she started moving both her arms and both her legs. She started talking. She started eating and drinking by herself. By the month of May, she was even taking baby steps with the help of a walker. She proved all the doctors wrong. Sorry. She went from a hopelessly severe case to a miraculously recovery case. She gave the word hope an elevated meaning. Friends, no matter how hard the situations become, never ever lose hope. Never lose hope.
because there is light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha, for sharing your story with us. I'm sorry to hear that your mother-in-law was sick, and I feel really a miracle and happy for her that she recovered, and hope she gets better and better and stronger and stronger. Please spend 1 minute to write your evaluation for Neha's speech. And Rajiv, please start the 1 minute. Okay. Okay, 1 minute is up. Now we'll start our table topic session. Let's welcome our table topics master, Hind. Welcome, Hind.
Thank you, Lihua. Hello, team. Now's the time of table topics. I hope I'll give you another 30 seconds and allow you to take yourself, stabilize yourself from the story that Neha just told us, which was a very moving story, if I must say. In that short span of time, I will give the prologue of today's table topics. Here it goes. So humanity, think about this. This is a future. Okay. Humanity has taken its first steps towards becoming an interplanetary species. Few probing satellites were sent out a few decades ago, and they have figured out some planets where humanity can go and set up a colony. So the scientific community believes that some of the planets which are located light years away can be a really good candidate. So a voyage is put together comprising of scientists, researchers, people of other roles, and a lot of human embryos. The ship is on its way. The ship is going to take 30 years to reach its destination. At the end of its 25 years, it is hit by a solar flare. The solar flare causes havoc on the ship and destroys oxygen and food supplies. By the way, the ship is also equipped with an AI called, let's call him Hal or Jarvis. Which name do we like more, Hal or Jarvis? Any favorites?
Jarvis.
Jarvis, okay. Hi, Neha. So our AI is called Jarvis. Now, Jarvis decides that oxygen and food supplies will not be able to last all the people on board to our destination. So we have to kick out 2 people. Before telling this to everybody, what Jarvis does is he takes all the scientific community in a separate room and locks them there. He early on decides that none of the crew or scientific community will be thrown out, will be ejected, because they are very much necessary for our survival on the new planet. The rest of the people, they will have to make their case and defend their case. So you guys will be the people, and you'll have to make a case for yourself why you should not be thrown out from the ship. With me? Can I get a thumbs up if people understood the prologue? Thank you. All right, so I'm looking for volunteers. Volunteers will be given a job profile which they had back on Earth, and they'll have to tell why they should not be thrown out of the ship. Oh, Lihua says we can only have one table topics today. Ouch.
Yeah,
Okay, then.
sorry. There are only like 13 minutes left, and we have 2 evaluators.
All right. May I request for 2, because like 2 people making a case will also allow us for voting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So quickly, two volunteers. Come on. If you do not come forth in another 5 seconds, I'll pick. Okay. Phil is one. I'll pick the other one. Okay. Raghav or Hilol, it's on you. Whoever wants.
Hey, sorry, Hind. Actually, I need to drop. I have a team meeting, so I won't be able to. I'm sorry.
Smartly played. Raghav, how about you?
Yes, Hind, I'll be joining.
Great. So Phil, we'll begin with Phil. Phil, you are a motivational speaker who was one of the most famous motivational speaker back on Earth, and you have to make a case for yourself why you should not be thrown out of the ship.
I'm looking. I've lost the timer. Sorry. Okay, so as a motivational speaker, I think you'll all agree that it's an obvious skill that one would seek to take to a new planet. I'm not going to be there helping with food production or analyzing samples and generally improving the climate and building shelters for ourselves. On the other hand, I think we can all agree that we're going to face many, many challenges ahead, and there are going to be very tough times. And we need people who are going to be able to bring the team together, to motivate those people to actually get the work done, to overcome all the problems that we're going to face ahead of us. And I feel that that's where my skills truly lie, and that's how I can truly help this mission. And without people who are going to act in those kind of leadership positions, then the mission will surely fail. And so it's for that reason that I put forward myself as a candidate who should not be ejected from the ship. Thank you.
For a motivational speaker, he spoke for a really less amount of time. All right, we'll move on to our next and last candidate who will make a case for why he should not be thrown out of the ship. Raghav.
I'm sorry, Hind, I can't turn on my video, so I'll be just speaking on audio.
That's not an issue. We would have loved it if your camera was on, but it's okay.
I'm having some internet connectivity issues. That's it.
No issue. So, Raghav, you are a very prodigal son of one of the most famous musicians back on Earth. And you are also part of this voyage for setting up our colony on this new planet. And now you have to make a case for yourself why you should not be ejected from the ship.
Okay. So when I was back on Earth, so with my music, with my beautiful music, I used to charm most of them. So with music, you can do many things. You can either bring out, so if anyone's having a bad day, you can make a good mood for them. Or if anyone is going through some trouble, or if they're having some stress or some other mental tensions. So with music, all these things get relieved and they enjoy their life with music. So back on Earth, I was a good entertainer. I with many of my people who were with me, with my music, I used to amuse them. so if I'm on the spaceship, so probably like people would be probably worried, or since it's a new environment in the spaceship, since they're not on Earth, they would have a lot of tensions. It would be a complete change of life. So with my music, I would like try to bring in a calm environment for them, or try to like even though I might not help completely overcome this issue, but with my music, I would like at least try to create a good environment for them and make some enjoyable moments for them. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for singing to us. But will we have time for the music when we are being attacked by the predators of this new planet? Well, we'll never know, because I don't think we'll ever reach in our lifetimes. With that, this is the end of the table topic session for today, and I will right away hand it back to. But before that, oh sorry, we need to have a voting. So the voting link is not prepared. Sorry about that. Why don't you send me the names of your favorite table topic speaker, and we'll announce the result at the end of the meeting. Can we all do that, please? Thank you. Now I'm going to send it back, hand over the panel back to Toastmaster Lihua for the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Hind, for prepared such wonderful topics. And sorry, we cannot have more speakers today. Next, we just will hand over to our general evaluator, Charlene, to host the evaluation session. Welcome, Charlene.
Thank you, Lihua. We have 2 evaluations, and I'm sure they're going to prove they are very worthy not to be thrown out of this ship. First is Vicky. She's going to evaluate the speech from RAM. Let's welcome Vicky.
Right. Thank you, General Evaluators. Hi, Ram. You've been hidden. Thank you for giving the informative speech. I think you are an erudite researcher on weight management. I will share about 3 positive things about your speech. Then I will make a couple improvement suggestions, if I may. So first of all, I think you incorporated the previous feedback pretty well. You engage the audience right at the beginning by asking questions. At the end, you also acknowledge question and answer. One thing, you seem to ask many questions. And generally, just good to ask like 1 question and waiting for the feedback. And second, I like your voice. You have very poetic voice. You also talk in a sense that it was like you raise and come down. Like a lot of times you like to use a lot of parallelism, I think. Your list is very long, and you try to use your voice modulation to make it sound very nice. So that is very good. And last, I really like about the structure organization of your speech. It is very clear and very easy to follow. And at the beginning, you have a clear introduction to see, why you're talking about the weight management, and then immediately you went into the 4 points. Toward the end, in the conclusion, you also ask people to pay attention right away. There's more of call to action. So it's very good organization and structure right there. In terms of improvement, I think you might want to pay attention to your eye contact. I think it's a little bit difficult for online meeting, but I felt like your eye was looking down the whole time. Maybe you could look into the video and try to learn to adjust your camera height and see whether or not you could feel like you're looking into the audience more versus looking at the keyboard. And the second thing, I think you present a lot of research, a couple of different angles. One thing I felt like you could tell a little bit about yourself. Why do you care about weight loss? Because you were standing so close, I couldn't tell if you were a thin person or a big person, right? You can also correlate related to our current HR event, say the biggest weight loss, 60-day gain, whatever, right? So you can related that as well. So you can also bring in audience by related to something everybody know about. So that's also could improve your audience engagement. Like overall, it's a great speech, especially you're at the very beginning. So I felt like you're already an expert in giving presentation. So I'm looking forward to your next speech. Thank you. So back to you, Charlene.
Thank you, Vicky. Next, let's welcome Akshaya. We didn't
Max.
change that, right? Or Max? Okay, sorry. Yeah, Max is going to evaluate Neha's speech. Let's welcome Max.
Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Neha, for such a powerful speech. I know this was a difficult speech, both for you, but also for the audience. It was emotional for you because you had to relieve the ordeal of your mother-in-law. But it was also difficult for the audience because you were very effective in transmitting your emotions during the ordeal and during your presentation. First, you presented a description of CPM in a very objective and erudite way, making it clear that it's both a tragic disease and an incurable one. Then you switch to the timeline of what your mother-in-law has to go through and the effect that it had in your family. You went through all the way in a very vivid, and I would say sometimes raw way of describing what happened, using sentences that are not very commonly heard during a Toastmasters speech, describing how the disease affected your mother-in-law, how the fact that she had to be in a bed, that she couldn't move, how that kept worsening the situation over and over. But at the same time, you find that light, that ray of light of hope when you found a doctor that gave you the information, that gave you hope, and then you saw your mother-in-law slowly recovering. That incredibly was the most emotional part of your speech, and when you actually lost control of your ability to continue speaking. I know what happened with your mother-in-law, which makes the speech even more difficult. But let me give you a few suggestions for improvement. The first and most important thing is when you're going to give a speech that is both very personal and very emotional, you have to make an effort to abstract yourself. You really have to get away from the pain or from the emotion and put like a mask in which you can deliver that emotion. You can control that emotion when you're delivering to your audience. It's going to make it more effective to transmit the message, especially your conclusion. Because that's when you really want to hit your audience, but you don't want the speech to hit you back. And if it does hit you back, you need to control it. It's not a cold way. It's a gift to the audience that you're giving your feelings in a way that they can absorb it. Overall, I believe it was a very courageous and a very impressive speech. And I hope I can hear more of those from you. Thank you, Neha.
Thank you, Max. Very emotional and touching evaluation as well as the speech. And next is the functional role report. Let's welcome the first one timer, Rajiv. Rajiv.
Thank you, Charlene. So let me make the report short. So Ram, you took 6 minutes and 50 seconds, well within the time limit. Congratulations. Neha, I'm not sure if the speech was like from 5 to 7 minutes, but this time was taken around like 10 minutes and 28 seconds. And for the table topics, I think Phil took 1 minute and 9 seconds. Raghav took 1 minute and 29 seconds. For the evaluations, Vicky was again within the time limit, 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Max took around 3 minutes and 48 seconds. Yep. I think that's all I have for the timer report. Back to you, Charlene.
Thank you, Rajiv. Next, let's welcome the AhCounter Sumedh. Sumedh.
Thank you, Charlene. Well, this is really tough. I'll be honest. I have bunch of scrabbled paper with lot of lines on them. So I'll make this pretty quick and fast for people to understand. I've also done some analysis. I'll get to that part later. Hind, to start off with you, you had 4 ands in one sentence. So a complex compound sentence need not go more than 2 ands. So that is one thing which I observed. 2 hours, 3 so that is okay. Lihua, I actually observed something. I'm pretty proud of this. You have been at Toastmasters for 5 years. For those people who are new to Toastmasters, this might be one of the things that you might observe. Lihua actually had 8 us and ums. However, she actually did not speak out any us and ums while she was in the speech. While starting, there were some us and ums, but when she was speaking, especially when she could have gone to an and she did not, right? So that is something that I observed. At the initial phase of your speaking, Lihua, you have to actually look at that one more time and see where you're going wrong. But that is one thing. Srini had one, Vicky had 3 us and ums. Ram had a pause. That is something he can look at. Max had a pause and going to the TTMs. Phil had a lot of us. Again, this is something Phil can work on. And one and where it was completely unnecessary. So these are some things. Otherwise, I love the speech. It is only the us which creeped in later on. Raghava had 2 us. Now let's go to the actual people who were leading the pauses part. Neha, I realize whatever Max has said. On top of that, there are 2 pauses, 2 types of pauses that you portrayed today. The second half of the speech was the emotional pause, wherein you were going through something and so there was a pause. Let's not talk about that. That's entirely fine. That actually conveyed the pain to all of us, and I am a little bit of a hypochondriac, so I'll have a bad night today. Anyway, but the initial pauses, so you had 12 pauses, 6 of them at the later stage, 6 of them at the initial stage. The first 6 pauses, I think you were a little nervous. I don't know whether that is true, but it felt as if you were a little nervous. You were trying to correlate between lines and there you were taking some pauses. So maybe that is something you can look at. I'm not entirely sure what the cause is, that we can discuss, but what I feel is that there was some nervousness, some anxiety. There was some, what is my next line kind of thinking which was going on subconsciously. So that created 6 pauses. But the later half, I'll not talk about it. There were 6 pauses there too. Apart from that, well, what do we have here? So basically what I plan to do now is after the meet is done, I will present the total number of us, crutch words, repetitions, filler words report on the GHC because we'll be running out of time today. But in general, these were some analysis points which I just wanted to get out there so that people can interpret what the numbers mean. All right. So thank you, and back to you, Charlene.
Thank you, Sumedh. Next, but not the last, is Srinivasan to give us a grammarian report.
Hey everyone, thank you Toastmaster Charlene. Here comes today's grammarian report. Since I have to move to another meeting, I'll just try to make this a short evaluation. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the speakers who used the word of the day, that is erudite. And Neha started the trend and then Vicky and Max followed. So congratulations everyone on using the word smartly. So moving on, with respect to the grammar usage, I have some notes. So Lihua said, I prepared. So maybe you can use I have prepared. That was one thing. And then when you were talking about the founders of M&M, you said, can you find two persons' names? Maybe we can use the names of the two people who founded the company. And so moving on, Ram gave a very good speech, and I would like to highlight one use of a phrase, which is constitution of consumers, which we generally do not hear. And he used influence weight. Maybe we can use the influence their weight. I think this was in context to the use of genetics to observe what is the relation with weight and height of the person. And moving on, he had a mention of the use of Nobel Prize winner. So he said for how cells recycle. Maybe we can say for his research on how the cells recycle and so on. So I think with respect to the table topic speeches, Phil did a very good job. Congrats, Phil. I think he's not here anyway. Yeah. And I would like to use only one thing with respect to Raghav. So he used a lot of words which had this make. Maybe he can replace that with create. For example, create enjoyable moments rather than make enjoyable moments. So other than that, Neha, you gave a very good speech, and I was left speechless at the end of your speech. So I mean, this is the report from my grammarian side. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinivasan. Now it comes to my report on my evaluation of the whole meeting. I totally enjoyed today's meeting. The one thing I really point out is the quality of the meeting. The speeches were full of good information, and also the work you can see in Neha's speech and also Ram's speech, right? Full of good information and also preparation and delivery. And too bad we are running out of time. Hint, I really like the background and fits the theme of going to the outer space. And too bad we didn't have enough time to have more speeches in that, but I really love that topic. So bring that back on next time. And I'm prepared. Evaluation, of course, even though there's a change, and I really appreciate that Max stepped in and gave a really powerful evaluation and set a good example for us how to do a valuable evaluation. And of course, veterans like Vicky, right, already show us in the first part. So I don't want to drag on, and I just want to remind everybody we should all be mindful of the time. We are 10 minutes ahead of the hour. So next time, let's try a little harder. And with that, let me pass the ball back to Madam Toastmaster or to Hind to announce the winner.
Hind.
Hind?
Yes.
Let's
make
the announcement.
The villagers of the spaceship have decided to keep the motivational speaker. They don't care for the musician, and we are sorry. Music is not going to be part of our daily routine at the new planet.
Well,
congratulations.
That's the fat lady saying. Congrats, Phil, everybody. Let's congratulate the winner and the second winner, even though we don't want to hear the music. So should I close the meeting or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me make a correction of my grammar. It should be 10 minutes. Now it's 11 minutes past the hour, not ahead of the hour. So a little reminder from the team. And every time we learned something from this meeting. I like to thank the other team, OITC team, to make this fun and interesting for us. And I really like to say thank you for my team. Everybody put in the effort and make this is a very good meeting. So I know I can bet night with the so and you guys will have a really good Friday, I'm pretty sure, and happy Diwali again. So without further ado, so let's say goodbye, and we'll see each other during the holidays. So take care, everyone. Bye.
Happy Diwali.
Bye. Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Thanks.
And bye. 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 Bye.